Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I'm Abu Bakr, and today's video, first let's have a recap. Yesterday we did selection structures. These were three: if statement, we had if else statement, and we have if else if statement, which is also known as if elif statement. In if statement, we execute the code in if statement if the conditions are met. If this condition right here is met, then only we will execute this code, otherwise the compiler will leave it. In the next statement, we have if else statement, in which we have a condition that is fulfilled, and if that is fulfilled, we will execute a piece of code written in if statement. Otherwise, so you see, the otherwise is a word that is used for else in real life in programming. So otherwise we will execute this piece of code which says you get nothing here. And then we have if else if statement, in which we had multiple selection, multiple choices to execute. So if we have this part, this condition is true, we will execute this one. If this condition is true, we'll execute this code. And if this is, so you can put as many as else ifs you want. And then there's a final case, that is else case. If none of the conditions above mentioned are met, then this piece of code will execute, which says you get nothing. Then we did loops. We did three kind of loops. That was while loop, the simplest loop, which will iterate over until the condition written in while is falsified. And then we had do while loop, in which the first time the loop will work even though the condition was false. And then in the second iteration, our loop will check for the condition, whether it's true or false. Then we had for loop, which has the variable declaration inside, and then we have a condition that if, wait a minute, I think this theme is disturbing. Now it's better. So we have an integer declaration over here. You can declare anything, float, but won't that be a little complicated? So it's better you go on with integers. So we have integer value declared, initialized, sorry. Yesterday I explained the difference between initialization, declaration, and assignment. And then we have a test which is checked on each iteration, and then we have an increment operator for executed. In today's lecture, we are going to do the arrays and do something more on understanding string and other variables, like I skipped float, long. I also skipped some data types which were not necessary using at the moment, but you may need them in the future. And then obviously we're going to start with the arrays. Now, what are arrays? Arrays are actually the contiguous collection or group of memory we have in our RAM. Okay, so when we declare an array, say I am declaring an array of integer, so I'll have blocks of integers in my memory, contiguously stored. If I want to go to syntax, I will declare an integer array. Wait a minute, I just forgot, I think. Yeah, so you declare the type of array you want to declare, and then you name it. I'll just name it an array, and then I'll put in the square brackets. The square brackets is the syntax of declaration of array, and then you type in the size of array you want to. It's just like list in Python, I think so. So now I have declared an array of 12 integers contiguously stored on my memory. And you know, all integers is of 4 bytes, right? Now If I want to have an array of character, then I'll have character char array, and then I'll have the number of elements I want to put in. So this was the declaration of array. We could also have initialized the array by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? Now if we want to declare a character array, we are definitely going to have values written in single quotes, A, B, C, because it's character. So 3 variables, 3 size and 3 character literals are entered in the array. So that's how we give it the value, right? Similarly, we can declare a string array too. String str, arr, name whatever you want to, and it has 2 variables. And remember to use curly braces, guys. We have double quotes. I'll just name ABC, and then I'll name this one DEF, and then I'll have the statement terminator. Okay, now this was the process of initializing an array, and if I delete this part, and if I delete this part, it will be just declaration. Initialize now, initialization, and if I want to assign an individual part of array, individual member of array, another value, I'll have it with the rotation index. Now in square braces we want to have index and change the value on the number you have. So 1 is on 0th position, 2 is on first position, 3 is on second position. So you understand? Now this is 0th element, first, second, third, fourth. So it goes like this because it starts from 0. So this is the array of 12 elements, and it works like this. If I wanted to change the very first element of the array, I would access it like this and give it the value, any value I want to. Now if I want to output the array, for loops come in very handy. I'll just use the basic for and I is equal to 0 and semicolon, guys, in the middle. And then I want to iterate it for 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way 11 times. Sorry, 12 times, because I'm using less than. If I'm using less than equal to, then I'm using 11 times, okay? And then I'm going to increment I on each iteration. And then I'm going to see out ARRAY, and anything first I will be 0, so it will see out 0th element. And once this program works, you'll understand it pretty well. And then I want to print space in between. I'll just run the code. So you see the 0th element is now 12 because I changed it to the 12, and then the remaining element remains the same. Okay, if I comment out this code and run it again, you see now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, same as the array I had of integer. Similarly, if I want to have my array output for characters, so I named it as char r, and I'll just reduce the size of array to, now it is 3. So 3 size. Normally in the normal standard notation is to use this if I'm using a less than. Here it's simple. I prefer this one for no reason, because this variable and this one gets similar. Hope you understand. Now ABC. If you don't want to use this notation, you can just go ahead and write equal to. It will work the same. again ABC. So it's just a variation between less than equal to and less than, but I prefer you use this notation, this syntax. So here's the method to output the array. Now how do we take input in an array? Consider I want to write the code of input here, and for that I will write another for loop, and I will write int I is equal to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus. Similar code because I want to iterate the array cin arr and I, and that's all. So the first for loop will take input from us, from the user, and the second for loop will do the output. How do you do this job with the terminal? Because for some reason it doesn't take input in Visual Studio Code. I can't figure out why, but it doesn't. So for that you need to go to terminal and compile your program manually, enter, and then you see an executable has been formed here. To run that a.out you need to have a dot and / and run the code. So now our code is running and it's waiting for us to give us the give the input. Since these are characters, we will input characters A, B, C, and this is output A, B, C. You could have also done it like sorry. A dot now A enter, B enter, C enter, so A, B, C. You would have also done it like this, or you can use blank spaces in between to differentiate that this is the input. So it's pretty simple. I'll just clear the terminal. So this was the method. How do we take input in an array? Now consider if I want to take input in my integer array, I will go ahead and change it with the size of 12. This one too with the 12, and then I want to change it with array Now if I run the code g++ intro.cpp and a.out, oh sorry, a.out. Now I will enter 1, 2, 3, 34, 12, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 12. So these are my values. 12 integers have been input. So this is how we take input and then display the contents of the array, right? Now we'll just learn what an array is. So the name of array is actually the pointer, a constant pointer. What pointers are, we'll have to wait for that till the next lecture, because that is a bit of complex. Not too complex. If you think that it's complex, it will it will give you a hard time, guys. But if you don't think that it's complex, it will not give you so hard. Because I have learned pointers, I don't know why the world is afraid of them, because those are very easy. And for the sake of safety as well, I just learned that in Swift, Apple has eliminated the pointers. So they have other things that does the work of pointers. Because pointers are considered to be dangerous, because you point towards the memory. Well, I don't want to go into the discussion because I'm just confusing you right now. So in the next video, we'll learn about the pointers. Well, in this video, we just learned how to create group of data types, how to name them, how to declare them, how to initialize them, how to assign them values, and how to assign them individually. Then we learned how to create a string array. We also learned how to take input in that array and how to display that array. So now we'll learn how to do operations on that array. Now, normally if you want to have you want to do operations on their individual values, you can access them like array. I want to add 0th element, and array I want to add first element. Okay, I'll just remove this one. For the sake of safety. Just ran. Oh, sorry, I did not output that. Cout A. So now it will give us an output 2. So it's 14. 12 plus 2 is equal to 14. I'll just put an ENDL in between so that it appears differently in the second line. Here, so 12 plus 2 is equal to 14. Now you know how to do operations on, because this notation returns an individual member, an individual entry of the array. Now we want to learn what are two-dimensional arrays. Those are actually matrices if you have learned them in your mathematics. To declare a 2D array, you need to have 2 square braces, and if I want to declare the matrix of 2 by 2, this is 2 by 2 matrix. Okay? And the way you are going to take input in this 2D matrix, actually matrix are 2D, in this 2D array, you will declare you will have to write 2 for loops, one for the outer rim and one for the other. Sorry, one for the rows and one for the column. So I less than 2, so I less than, because number of rows here are, number of columns are 2, and then I want to have another for loop embedded inside this one, and that is also, sorry, now this is J, 2 rows in J++. Okay, and now I want to do Cin in 2D, and I want to have ij here, and then I want to have another loop for int I is equal to 0, I less than 2, I plus plus. You can also go ahead and copy, it's just for the sake of revision for you guys, I'm writing it again. Otherwise when I'm working I just copy them. You can also copy them and then Cout 2D I and j and have distance in between. And when we are finished with the first row, we want to end line so that the next result is output on the next line. Okay, so now it's actually okay. So this happened, it's asking for input and I have run it and I ran it in the wrong place. Compilation terminated. Oh sorry, it's intro, not into. It's just compiled. Now it out. Now it's waiting for the input for the next two-dimensional array that is a matrix. So I want to come to the next line by pressing enter and then press 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is our matrix that we just enter 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, an individual, if you want to access the individual variable, I'll just have it have a end line over here so that better formatting for the sake of understanding. Now if I want to access the 0th element, 0, 0 element, that is 1, and this is 0, 1, which is 2. Now we have 1, 0, which is 3, and we have 1, 1, which is 4. So I'll just see out all of them. 2D, then again 2D, then again 2D, then again 2D for 4 elements. And then we have another ANDL in between so that the line is not confused with the other one. So we want to access the 0, 0 element, then we want to access the 0, 1 element, then we want to access 1, 0 element, then we want to access the 1, 1 element. Okay, so indexes goes in the square bracket and we'll have it compiled again. Intro.cpp, run it, out. Now we want to input 1, 34, 23, and 5. So this is our matrix output with this code. 1, which comes from 0, 0. From 1, 0 we have 34. From 1, 0, okay, sorry. From 0, 1 we have 34. From 1, 0 we have 23. And from 1, 1 we have 5. So this is how you're going to access the individual elements of index by index notation. Sorry. So now we'll learn the whole thing in Urdu. तो जब भी आप एक array डिक्लेयर करेंगे तो सबसे पहले आप उसकी डेटा टाइप लिखेंगे, फिर आप उसका नाम लिखेंगे और जितने एलिमेंट आपको चाहिए आप उन्हें स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट्स में लिख देंगे और बाद में ब्रेसेस के अंदर, कर्ली ब्रेसेस के अंदर आप वो तमाम एंट्रीज डाल देंगे जो आपको उस अरे में डालनी है। आप इनसे कम भी डाल सकते हैं, आप 11 भी डाल सकते हैं, फिर बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट बाकी जो रिमेनिंग एलिमेंट हैं उनको 0, 0 मिल जाएगा। इनफैक्ट हम इसको ट्राई करके देखते हैं। अगर आप करेक्टर अरे डाल रहे हैं तो उसके लिए भी सेम थिंग है, बस एक चीज़ डिफरेंट है, वो ये है कि करेक्टर्स को क्योंकि सिंगल कोट्स में लिखा जाता है C++ में, तो आपको इसमें सिंगल कोट्स में ही अपना डाटा लिखना पड़ेगा। उसके बाद आप स्ट्रिंग, और याद रखिए जब भी आप स्ट्रिंग की डाटा टाइप इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं तो आपको स्ट्रिंग की लाइब्रेरी भी इंक्लूड करानी पड़ेगी क्योंकि इट्स नॉट अ प्रिमिटिव डाटा टाइप, ये क्लास बनाई हुई है उन्होंने C++ डेवलपर्स ने जो कि अलग से है, और एक्चुअली स्ट्रिंग होती भी करेक्टर अरे ही है। आने वाले वक्तों में आपको पता चल जाएगा। फिर हमने सीखा कि उसको आउटपुट किस तरह कराते हैं। आउटपुट कराने के लिए आप इंडेक्स नोटेशन इस्तेमाल करें इस तरह से, और फिर हमने देखा कि आप उसको cin किस तरह कराते हैं, इनपुट किस तरह लेंगे उसके इंडिविजुअल एलिमेंट्स में, और इंडिविजुअल एलिमेंट को आउटपुट किस तरह कराएंगे, तो उसके लिए आप ये तरीका अपनाएंगे। फिर आप उसके इंडिविजुअल एलिमेंट के ऊपर बिल्कुल उसी तरह जिस तरह आम इंटीजर्स के ऊपर आप बेसिक ऑपरेशन करते हैं, प्लस माइनस डिवीजन रिमाइंडर ऑपरेटर्स के साथ आप ये भी कर सकते हैं, और इसका बस आउटपुट कराने के लिए। और फिर हमने देखा कि मैट्रिसेस की तरह 2 डायमेंशनल अरेज को किस तरह बनाएंगे, तो 2 डायमेंशनल अरेज को हम इस तरह बनाते हैं। इसके लिए हम 2 फॉर लूप्स इस्तेमाल करेंगे, एक फॉर लूप बाहर की ओर और अंदर में एक और एम्बेड फॉर लूप इस्तेमाल करेंगे, और बिल्कुल सेम उसी तरीके की तरह जिस तरह हमने ऊपर इनपुट लिया था इधर भी इनपुट लेंगे। फ़र्क सिर्फ इतना है कि i नंबर ऑफ़ रोज़ और j नंबर ऑफ़ कॉलम्स, या शायद j नंबर ऑफ़ कॉलम्स और i नंबर ऑफ़ रोज़, या मैं शायद इसका भी उल्टा बोल रहा हूँ, जो भी है उसके मुताबिक आपको डालना होगा और उसी के मुताबिक आप उसको सी आउट करा देंगे। फ़र्क सिर्फ इतना है कि जब आपकी एक फॉर लूप ख़त्म होगी उसके बाहर आके आपको उसके स्कोप से बाहर आके एक ENDL लगाना पड़ेगा। स्कोप से मुराद वो तमाम एरिया जो कि एक फंक्शन, एक लूप या एक स्टेटमेंट के अंदर ब्रेसिस, करली ब्रेसिस के अंदर जो भी आप लिखेंगे वो उसके स्कोप का होगा, ठीक है। उस स्कोप से बाहर आके आपको एक ENDL लगा देना है, और ये सिर्फ एक बेटर फॉर्मेटिंग, उसको एक मैट्रिक्स की तरह आउटपुट कराने के लिए, वरना आप इसको भी ना लगाएं तो कोई इतना मसला नहीं है, फॉर बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग। तो इंडिविजुअल एलिमेंट्स को आप किस तरह एक्सेस कर सकते हैं, तो वो इस नोटेशन से होगा, डबल ब्रेसेस लगा कर उसमें आप इंडेक्सेस पास कर सकते हैं। तो आज के लेक्चर के लिए इतना ही, कल हम इसको फिर रिकैप करेंगे। संडे को मैं कोई लेक्चर अपलोड नहीं करूँगा, या शायद करूँ भी, या शायद ये वही संडे का लेक्चर है जो आज मैं सैटरडे को कर रहा हूँ रिकॉर्ड, जो भी है। थिंग्स आर प्रीटी मैसी। आप इसको पढ़ें और मुस्कुराते रहें। शुक्रिया दोस्तों, अल्लाह हाफिज़।